2005. You can watch this, by the way, on Tubi.
Tubi.
And actually, should check that out because there's some weird shit on there.
Yeah, Tubi's, if anybody doesn't have Tubi's free. It's got a shit ton of horror movies on it.
Yeah.
And a shit ton of ads.
There are ads,
That's why
which
it's
suck. But it's free.
And you don't really have to do much signing up because you can do it right through your Facebook.
And it makes sucky movies even longer, like this one.
Oh, yeah, that kind of shit
ahead.
is true. Summary for this film. A lone female park ranger tries to track down a vicious creature killing various people and terrorizing her at a remote national park. Now, the main star of this film, do you know what her big credit is? Her big moment to shine?
It waits.
Well, yeah, I guess technically, but prior to this, what's that movie that parodies American Pie? Not Another Teen Movie. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember the the American Pie has that naked chick in it?
Mm-hmm.
There's a girl in Not Another Teen Movie called Areola. She's just naked. I think she probably doesn't talk much.
Areola?
Yeah, she's just naked. She's naked in class. So that's her big role before this, but she's the main focus of this fucking movie. Written by Richard Christian Matheson,
Not to be confused with the author. When I first seen screenplay by Richard Matheson, I was like, well, this might be good.
Not the guy that wrote I Am Legend.
Nope.
No, but these guys wrote and conceived. Well, I guess not all of them, but Tom Szollosi. I can't even fucking read that, dude.
Clearly.
I can't. Stephen Cannell, who are storied television writers. They all wrote on the A-Team, Renegade, Incredible Hulk, 21 Jump Street, all of the fucking cop shows from back then. This is directed by Stephen R. Monroe, who did the I Spit on Your Grave remakes and Exorcism of Molly Hartley, which I haven't seen any of that shit. So I don't know if it's good. Can't go based on that. People have been trying to get this movie made since the 70s.
Huh.
They had Tobe Hooper attached at one point. The script has been...
Well, he should have done it. It might have been worth watching.
There is, before we go too far, there's a lot of cool ideas in this movie.
There is.
Yeah, but before we go too far.
Before we go too far, I will lay that out. There are a lot of cool ideas in this movie.
They had Tobe Hooper attached to this at one point and Amblin Entertainment. So they were looking to get this made. The thing that he changed was the original script, it was a dude that was the main character, and there was no love relationship bullshit. So that was probably a mistake on my. I think.
Probably.
It felt like it was made by Cinemax, like a Cinemax. Yeah, that's. I don't care about the love story. That's the whole thing that killed it for me at the beginning. And that setting is really cool, man. Like, they could have when it's at night, you can't see out, but whatever's out there can see in. So it's like a lot of really paranoia type shit. The monster doesn't even look bad. It looks like a mix between Pumpkinhead and one of the orcs from Lord of the Rings.
A little bit like the Creeper.
Yeah, a little bit. It has wings. Yeah, I wrote, it waits. It's more like you waits to see this damn thing. Because they didn't even show, I think it would have been a little bit better.
You should, when you write jokes like that down, you should really just kind of deliver them off the cuff instead of saying, I wrote down to say during the show.
Okay, yeah, I did fucking write this down. This isn't a joke, but I wanted to remember this.
I believe you wrote it all down.
There are 3 fucking...
I can tell you're reading it.
I did write this down.
I'm watching you read it.
There are 3 songs in this movie, and they're featured kind of like they feature music on Grey's Anatomy, where it's just really loud, and at one point I had to turn the fucking my speakers down and shit. They are by Melanie Monroe. We all need to write her letters and tell her to stop it. Just stop it, man.
Write this down.
Write this down.
Marilyn Monroe.
Everybody
email Marilyn Monroe. Tell her to quit writing music.
Melanie Monroe.
The first person that emails Frank Marilyn Monroe is going to get this movie here.
Oh yeah, email it to me.
Hocus
You
Pocus.
win a free copy, courtesy of Best Buy. We're sponsored by Best Buy now. Free copy of Hocus Pocus.
If you
email, what's the email address?
lrhspod@gmail.com.
Put it on the screen.
And just put Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
And thanks for the DVD, and you'll get it. I bet you won't fucking email though. I bet you won't. lrhspod@gmail.com.
One of you guys can have it.
I don't want it.
But anyways, there's bad music, bad acting. The cinema, it's got a Cinemax softcore style cinematography. But I looked into the cinematography. I was trying to find the blame. I was like, what's making this bad? And I looked at the cinematographer's shit, and it's all solid. Everybody's pretty solid in here. But then I figured out that it was the original writer that changed it for the worse to put the love story in, to change that lead into a female character. And he can probably do whatever he wants with it since he wrote it. Since he wrote the original script, I would assume. Anyways, I really think if they would have chopped out the love story, it had a potential for a pretty good monster movie because of the setting. I think that the setting was pretty solid. I don't know how you can. The monster was good. I don't know where that's just the love story. I think that's basically all I've got. I give it a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10.
Well, you skipped over me at the beginning. So this does have a tagline. It hungers.
Last time you didn't have notes. That's why.
It's changed now.
We're back to the format.
It hungers for human carnage, and it will wait no longer. Distributed by New Arc Entertainment and Anchor Bay, and this has a Blu-ray release from Anchor Bay in 2010. It's like $10, but that's about $9 too much for this movie. It started off good. Like the opening scene, you get a glimpse of the creature in the cave, and it looks decent.
The creature looks good.
I was like, all right, and then it goes downhill really fast. Like they're trying to portray these heavy emotions
So bad.
going on. Like she killed her friend because she was driving drunk, and now is she up in this fire tower? Which it is a cool like setting.
It's a ranger tower in like a state park.
She's up there drinking and crying, and like it's just so much heavy emotion stuff, and it's awful.
And she's talking to a bird.
Like if you can pull it off, you can pull it off. Like Boys and Trees, that it worked in that movie for me. This is just like Cinemax. At times, I feel like I'm watching a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, there you go.
Like it's just.
I think they hit on. I think everything in the movie they hit on all good ideas, but
no.
But they never
You're wrong.
tied them together in a coherent way.
Like the only thing they hit on was the monster.
Well,
everything else is shit. The acting, the story.
Go ahead. I'll finish it.
Dang it, Jared.
Ooh.
And with the freaking love. What's with all the love making scenes?
Really
like I'm
long.
down for
That's
a sex scene in a movie, but you got romantic.
That's when that song comes on, man.
Yes, you got romantic music playing. Then she's crying in bed after sex, like again with the heavy emotion stuff. Like this movie just felt so weird.
Did you think it was strange, like all of the choices that they were making all the time? When the guy's here's my gun, I'm gonna go into the woods. Whatever.
I thought maybe that the second act was going to pick up. No. Maybe something that's going to pay off at the end of the third act. Nothing. When it focuses on the monster, it's okay. But there's just too much wrong with this movie for me to enjoy the monster scenes. Horrible music, bad acting. The story wasn't good. I liked the setting too. The romance crap was awful, and there was not enough monster. I gave it a 3.
Damn. Whoa. Mine's not much higher. As I was saying, I think all the basic ideas, like if you boil them down to probably what the original ideas were.
Yeah.
I think everything in this movie was, at least at start, a good idea. I like the mythology behind the monster. but they don't do shit with it. Like, they just have what's his name show up in the camper and be like, "Hey, here's this," and that's like at the end of the movie.
He was a totally expositional character.
He should have been there since the beginning.
Right.
They should have played off the. I don't. Yeah, not that I don't mind it. It doesn't work in the movie. The idea that she's sad in the beginning and getting drunk because her friend dies, and you were kind of led to believe they were out drunk and they got into an accident because her friend was driving, but then you find out there's a reveal later that she was driving, so those are the heavy emotions. She killed her friend and let her dead friend take the blame for it, kind of deal. When, like, the guy was... And this is where all this shit falls flat. It is pointless in this movie, but I think there was an original nugget of an idea. Because the exposition character, there's like one line in there where he's talking about how the monster is drawn to her because she has this kind of like that.
I don't care what it started out originally. What they did was
I
garbage.
understand. Yes.
Okay. Well, originally started out they had.
I understand.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is all the concepts there. I like all the concepts. You can do a movie where you have this monster that feeds on negative energy that likes to play with people, and your main character is in this situation.
Well, yeah,
and everything
called Jeepers Creepers.
You can
essentially that's what this was basically.
You can do that, and it's all good. And they had all the ideas there, but they didn't put them together well at all. And the whole idea of her getting in the crash with a friend, it ends up falling flat and feeling like a waste of time. Because they don't do anything with it other than exposition guy having one line.
Useless. Useless information.
The mythology of the monster, although was a cool idea, at the end just feels pointless and messy, even throwing this guy in to explain it, because they don't do with it. Like, they had a lot of ideas that
I don't
they
know
don't.
how you mess up a monster movie. I don't know how.
They don't do anything.
This bad. Anyway.
This would have been really pretty good.
Like,
if
you don't know what you're doing, I can forgive you. But
and then,
like Frank said, on paper it seems they kind of had some stuff together and
it's
failed.
That's what I was saying. Like, the basis of it, they have a whole mythology for the monster, why it would be after this girl, story that would work. And all you have to do is
that must not have been very good either, because I forget it already.
The thing that I think happened,
the mythology of this monster.
It was,
what do you even call it?
It was a demon that was
it's from another dimension, and it's kind of like
it was locked up in a mountain.
Yeah, imbued with human emotions, but yeah, it was, and it was all good, but they didn't do anything with it. All of that is just they sacrificed that. They spent a half hour on that whole her getting in a wreck thing. That way, when some random character in a camper shows up and is like, you feeling weird, that's why this thing's trying to kill you, you'd be like, oh, but like it's just such a bad it's such a bad build up to it. Everything there you can do really well and make it impactful, and this doesn't.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 5. I didn't mind it. It wasn't great. I don't think you need to go watch it.
The one thing I think I don't think
not that far from yours.
I don't think the dude that wrote
3 and 5 is a big difference.
I don't think the dude that wrote the original
and Frank was right in the middle.
I don't think the dude that wrote the original script is a bad writer, because he's the guy that conceived the greatest American hero, man. He came up with he conceived the A-Team, conceived Greatest American Hero. What was the other things? He came up with all that shit. But I think
not award-winning writers.
But I think what happened was this thing had been sitting on the shelf for so fucking long, and then he brings it back out. He finally gets it back. I think it was in, mixed up in production.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. It does feel like too many cooks in the kitchen. And a lot of ideas just stayed shoved in there, but no one did anything.
I think when he finally got it back and he looked at it, it was like, kind of like if you think too much when you're fucking icing a cake, and then you end up with like too much icing in there.
Well, there is at least 3 writers. There's probably more if you get into it.
Yeah, it feels like that.
But
I didn't have a horrible time watching it. I wasn't super entertained, but I didn't shut it off saying, "Wow, that was terrible."